Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very carefully, because what I am about to walk you through today is something my inbox has been screaming about for the past 72 hours straight. I cannot open Instagram, I cannot open Twitter, I cannot open my DMs without 10, 20, 30 new messages, all asking me the exact same question. People are sliding in, people are tagging me, people are quote tweeting me, strangers, mutuals, my own family members, all hitting that same drum in unison. And the drum they keep beating sounds exactly like this. The heart part 7, the heart part 7, the heart part 7. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are not dancing around it, we are not tiptoeing around it, we are walking straight into the middle of the fire, and we are breaking down every single shred of evidence that is piled up on the doorstep of hip-hop over the past week. Because what is brewing right now is bigger than a tweet, bigger than a leak, and possibly bigger than anything the genre has cooked up in the last 12 months. So buckle up, this one is gonna move fast. Now before I dive in head first, before I let the hood off and let the words run loose, I need a favor from every single one of you watching me right now. Smash that like button into oblivion. I am not asking, I am begging, because the algorithm is a hungry beast, and it will not feed unless you feed it first. My target today is sitting at 10,000 thumbs up, and the second we cross that line, I am opening the vault and I am revisiting the entire Heart series from the ground up. Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, Part 4, Part 5, Part 6. Every chapter, every line, every layer, every prophecy that Kendrick Duckworth has buried inside that catalog over the last 15 years. You have been asking me, you have been demanding it. You have been camping in my comments section for months, and the moment we hit that number, the door swings open. So hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, do it once for yourself, do it twice for the culture, and do it a third time for the boogeyman that is about to walk back into the building. And let me just be transparent with you for one quick second, because I think transparency is what keeps this community of ours real. I checked the analytics this morning, and roughly 80% of the eyeballs that land on this channel every single day are not subscribed. 80%. That is not me complaining, that is not me whining, that is just the cold mathematical truth of how this platform operates. I get it, I really do, because I'm the same way when I'm scrolling through other people's videos. My thumb forgets the button exists. But I'm telling you, every single time I stand here and say subscribe to the channel, the count climbs, the engagement climbs, and the videos hit harder. It works. So if you have been rocking with me for weeks, for months, for years even, this is the moment to make it official. Tap the button, take the 2 seconds, let's lock in together. Because what is unfolding in real time right now is the kind of moment we are going to be referencing for the next decade. Okay, bonnet is on, game face is locked. Let me explain exactly why every credible whisperer, every plug, every behind-the-scenes operator in the industry is suddenly pointing at the same red dot on the map. Because something has shifted in the atmosphere over the last 7 days, and you can feel it if you were paying attention. The wind changed direction, the temperature dropped, the frequency rearranged itself, and it's not coming from one isolated corner of the internet. It's coming from everywhere all at once, which is the part that makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand straight up. When one random burner account on Twitter starts dropping cryptic predictions, you ignore it. When 2 of them do it, you raise an eyebrow. But when 15, 20, 30 of the most trusted, most plugged in, most surgically accurate voices in this entire ecosystem all start whispering the exact same 3 words within 48 hours of each other, ladies and gentlemen, that is no longer a coincidence. That is a coordinated signal flare being shot straight into the night sky. And the man at the center of every single one of those signals, the silhouette behind the smoke, the name everyone is afraid to say out loud, is of course Kendrick Lamar, Kung Fu Kenny himself, the same gentleman who spent the back end of 2024 dismantling a 40-year-old man on live television and then turned the entire calendar year of 2025 into a personal victory parade that the genre had not witnessed since the days of Marshall, Hav, and Pac. That same Kendrick. And the chatter, the rumor, the prophecy that keeps recycling itself through every single corner of rap Twitter is that the 7th installment of his most personal saga, the Heart series, is locked, loaded, and aimed directly at the calendar. Now, do I personally believe a brand new Kendrick song is dropping tomorrow morning at midnight? Let me pump the brakes for a second and be honest with you, because I do not lie in this chair. I do not believe anything Kendrick releases is inevitable, ever. That word does not belong anywhere near his name. This is a man who vanishes for entire presidential terms. This is a man who treats album rollouts like military operations. This is a man who could read the temperature in this room right now, decide he does not like it, and disappear into the California mountains for another 48 months without blinking. Inevitable? Nah. The second you scare him, he ghosts. The second you pressure him, he disappears. So let us not poke the bear with that kind of language. But, and this is a massive but, I will say there is something undeniably different about the noise this time, because the people repeating these whispers are not your average clickbait trolls. They are not the burner accounts that crawl out from under the bridge every quarter looking for engagement scraps. These are voices that have been right before. These are accounts I personally trust, accounts that have called previous rollouts before they happened, accounts that have a documented, receipt-laden history of knowing things before the rest of us know things. And when those people start humming the same tune, you do not change the station, you turn the volume up. And one of the loudest indicators that I rely on as my own personal lie detector is somebody who is not even saying anything at all. Top dog himself, Anthony Tiffith, Punch from TDE, the man behind the curtain. Because here is the move I have learned to watch for over the years. When a narrative is running wild across the timeline and it is completely fictional, somebody from that camp will hop online and quietly shut it down with a joke, a meme, a sarcastic emoji, a one-word reply, something, anything. But when the narrative is real, when there is actually something cooking in the oven, the entire camp goes radio silent. And right now, you could hear a pin drop inside that organization. That silence is not empty. That silence is loud. That silence is screaming. Now here's where it goes from interesting to genuinely uncomfortable for the opposition, because while Twitter is doing its Twitter thing, the people who actually live inside Kendrick's creative orbit have been popping up in interviews and accidentally, or maybe not so accidentally, letting little breadcrumbs of confirmation slip out from under the table. And once you stitch them together side by side, the picture starts to look less like a fan fantasy and more like a fully assembled puzzle. So let me walk you through these breadcrumbs one by one, because individually they look harmless, but stacked on top of each other, they tell a very specific story. Breadcrumb number 1, Soundwave, the architect, the man whose fingerprints are pressed into every great Kendrick record from Section 80 all the way through GNX. The same Soundwave who basically operates as the in-house spiritual compass over at PG Lang. This man hopped onto social media a few days ago and casually posted a phrase ripped directly out of Kendrick's verse on Baby Keem's record. Just dropped it out there with no caption, no context, no explanation. The line, "walking in the party," sitting there like a postcard from the future. Now, on its own, that is nothing. People quote lyrics every single day. But here's the thing. Soundwave does not just casually quote lyrics. Soundwave is a vault. Soundwave does not waste keystrokes. When that man surfaces with a coded reference, it is rarely accidental, and the timing of this particular post is a little too convenient to ignore.
Breadcrumb number 2, Jack Antonoff, the Grammy machine, the man who reshaped the sonic skeleton of GNX behind the boards last year. He just sat down for a brand new interview and casually let slip. And I want you to listen to the phrasing here, because the phrasing is the whole story. He said he has a band with Soundwave and Sam Dew. He said Soundwave texted him to come upstairs at Electric Lady Studios, and once he walked through that door, he never left. 3 years, ladies and gentlemen. 3 years of continuous, uninterrupted, ongoing musical chemistry between the man who built GNX and Kendrick's tightest collaborators. 3 years. They have allegedly stacked over 100 songs together. 100. That is not a side project. That is not a vacation. That is a body of work that is bigger than most rappers' entire discographies, sitting in a hard drive somewhere in Manhattan or Los Angeles, just waiting for the right moment to be unleashed. Breadcrumb number 3, Isaiah Rashad, the Chattanooga prophet himself, currently rolling out his own brand new project, currently doing press, currently sitting across the table from Hot 97, and during the conversation, he casually drops the line that he has been seeing Kendrick more this past year than he has seen him in the entire previous decade combined. Let that one bake in the oven for a minute. Every time Zay walks into the studio, Kendrick is already inside. Every session, every booth, every late night, the same silhouette is hunched over a microphone. And Isaiah even noted that the two of them, who used to be official label mates at TDE back in the day, now hang out inside that studio more frequently than they ever did when they were actually under the same roof corporate-wise. Read that twice, read it 3 times, because there is only one logical interpretation of that statement. And here is what makes those 3 breadcrumbs hit even harder. TDE and PG Lang are notoriously locked down. They are a vault inside a fortress. Loose lips do not exist in that camp. Information does not leak out of that building unless somebody at the top of the food chain wants it to leak. So when not 1, not 2, but 3 core figures in Kendrick's musical ecosystem all start speaking in confirming whispers within the same news cycle, that is not a coincidence. That is a controlled release. That is a slow drip. That is a man planting seeds in the soil and letting them sprout right on time. Now let me pause for a moment because I want to address something honestly with my chest. Do I think Kendrick Lamar is finishing an entire brand new full-length studio album as we speak? Honestly, I cannot say that with 100% certainty. Could be one song, could be a Lucy, could be a surprise feature, could be a 3-track EP, could be a soundtrack contribution. I do not know the scope, I do not know the size, I do not know the shape of whatever is being constructed inside those 4 walls. But what I do know, what I am absolutely confident in, is that this man is recording. This man is in the booth. This man is locked into his craft. And when Kendrick Lamar is in studio mode, anything is possible at any moment. Look at GNX. That album materialized out of thin air on a random Friday afternoon and shifted the entire balance of power in hip-hop overnight. That is the gift and the curse of dealing with this particular artist. You never see him coming until he is already standing on top of you. And honestly, when you really sit and reflect on the last 2 years, the idea that Kendrick has nothing left to say is almost laughable. Forget the Drake battle for a second. Forget Not Like Us. Forget Euphoria. Forget Meet the Grams. Forget all of it. Strip that entire chapter out of the equation. The world we are living in today is so radically different from the world that birthed To Pimp a Butterfly that he could deliver a sequel right now and it would feel even more urgent than the original ever did. Politics, social fractures, the state of the culture, the state of the genre, the state of his own community. There is enough raw material sitting on the table right now for this man to record 3 classics back to back without ever repeating himself once. And then, on top of all of that, you stack the lingering ripples from the Drake situation. You stack the way every single peer of his, Jay-Z, J. Cole, Pusha T, even Nas, has spent the last 12 months publicly processing the aftermath of that war. And meanwhile, the man at the center of it all, the actual victor, the actual king of that battlefield, has barely opened his mouth. He hasn't given us a single interview. He hasn't given us a sit-down. He hasn't given us a long-form reflection. The only voice that hasn't weighed in on the war is the voice of the man who won it. And that silence, ladies and gentlemen, that silence is the loudest part of the entire symphony.
Now here is where things get spicy, because all of this Kendrick chatter is materializing at the exact same moment that the other side of the aisle is trying desperately to ignite hype for their own product. The Iceman, the Frozen Project, the Spite Man album, whatever you want to call this thing being assembled over at OVO headquarters. And listen, I have to address this because the optics around that whole rollout are getting more comedic by the hour. We have got the Game. Yes, that Game. The same gentleman who has spent the last decade publicly worshiping at the altar of his Toronto idol, currently being chauffeured around on private jets, allegedly co-signed as a creative consultant on this so-called blockbuster album. The Game on the jet, the Game on the bill, the Game writing love letters that somehow end up leaked in group chats, The game collecting frequent flyer miles in the name of helping his hero rebuild a ruined reputation. You cannot script this comedy. Hollywood does not have writers this creative. And while all of that circus is unfolding at 30,000 feet, somebody else is already preheating the oven to melt the ice the second it hits the shells. The same Daft Punk advisor crowd, the same critics, the same internet, they are sharpening their knives. And of course, the man in the corner of the ring with the gloves still warm, Kendrick himself, has not even had to say a word. The ice is melting from the temperature of the room, not from anything anybody is actively doing. That is what dominance looks like when it goes uncontested for too long. Now, let me circle back to the rumor mill itself, because I want to address why these Heart Part 7 whispers might actually have legs underneath them this time, even though I am still personally on the fence. Because Kendrick's silence in the wake of that song's existence is again the most damning evidence of all. If this entire rumor cycle was completely fabricated, somebody from his camp would have laughed it off by now. A wink, a nudge, a subtweet, anything. But the camp is acting like a monastery right now. Vow of silence engaged. And that vow of silence in the TDE/PG Lang playbook is historically the precursor to a release. They get quiet right before they get loud. They go invisible right before they go nuclear. That is the rhythm. That has always been the rhythm. So when you combine the silence with the Soundwave breadcrumbs, with the Antonoff revelations, with the Isaiah Rashad confirmations, with the Baby Keem hints, and yes, Keem himself recently dropped a quiet little comment somewhere on social media suggesting that the future is going to be much more consistent than the past, which could absolutely be interpreted as a sly reference to his cousin's release schedule. When you stack all of that on a single table, the picture sharpens. And it is also worth pointing out, Kendrick is one of those artists who genuinely seems to thrive on the rhythm of the studio. He is not a man who lounges. He is not a man who coasts. He is the Kobe Bryant of this rap thing. And I do not mean that in a stats versus stats Mount Rushmore comparison sense. I mean it in the work ethic sense. Kobe was a gym rat. Kendrick is a studio rat. Kobe was shooting 800 jumpers in his pajamas at 4 a.m. in the morning. Kendrick is hunched over a laptop in a basement at the same hour, writing verses he might never even release. The dedication is the same flavor. The obsession is the same texture. And when you bottle that kind of obsession with the kind of cultural moment he is sitting inside of right now, you do not get a man taking a sabbatical. You get a man cooking in silence. And that is exactly what every single one of these breadcrumbs is whispering to us. So where does that leave us, ladies and gentlemen? Where does the math actually land? Here is my honest, no fluff, no clickbait personal take, and I'm laying it out for you with my whole chest. Do I believe a Heart Part 7 is dropping within the next 7 days, perfectly timed to body slam the Iceman the second it surfaces? Personally, I'm leaning toward no. I do not think Kendrick is going to make his move in the same exact window as the Iceman, because that would actually give the Iceman the only oxygen it has. He's too smart for that. He's too patient for that. He's too calculated for that. If Kendrick is going to strike, my gut tells me he'll let the Iceman drop, let it melt under its own weight for a few weeks, let the conversation around it dry up, and then he'll walk into the room when everybody least expects it and rearrange the furniture again. That's the assassin's move. That's the playbook. That's the cold-blooded execution we have come to expect.
But, and I cannot stress this enough, I have been wrong before. I will be wrong again. And the second Kendrick decides to flip the script and rewrite the entire week, I will be the first person in this chair screaming it from the rooftop. That is the beauty and the terror of dealing with this artist. You cannot predict him, you cannot box him in, you cannot map his next move on a spreadsheet. He moves when he wants to move, he speaks when he wants to speak, and the second you think you have him figured out, he reminds you that you do not. So listen, stay locked in, stay glued to the timeline, stay subscribed to this channel, because if anything breaks, if anything cracks, if any single one of these whispers turns into a confirmed release, I am going to be back in this chair within minutes, breaking it down line by line, bar by bar, syllable by syllable. Drop your prediction in the comments below. Do Do you think the Heart Part 7 is actually coming? Do you think it is coming before the Iceman? After the Iceman? Or do you think this is all a beautifully orchestrated fan fiction that is going to evaporate into thin air by next Tuesday? I genuinely want to read every single one of those takes because the comments section on this channel has become one of the smartest rooms on the entire platform, and I do not say that lightly. And also let me know while you were down there just how cooked you personally believe the Iceman is going to be on a scale from 1 to absolute disaster, because the temperature gauge on this rollout is reading some genuinely concerning numbers right now, and I want to know if you are picking up the same signals I am. Shout out to Fantastic Hip Hop one more time for sparking parts of this conversation. Make sure you go check out the rest of that video too once you wrap up here, because the analysis over there is sharp, and it dovetails beautifully with everything we just unpacked. The connections, the dots, the breadcrumbs, the silences, the studio whispers, it is all pointing towards something big. We just do not know exactly what shape that something is going to take yet. So this is where we're going to pause it for today. The board is set, the pieces are positioned, the whispers are getting louder, the opposition is sweating, the king is allegedly in the studio, and the rest of us are standing on the sidelines, refreshing our timelines every 6 minutes, hoping the universe drops a surprise in our lap. If the Heart Part 7 is real, we will know soon. If it is not real, we will know that too. But either way, the next 30 days of this genre are about to be absolutely electric, and you are not going to want to miss a single second of it. Hit that like button one more time before you bounce. Share this video with the homie who has been arguing with you in the group chat about whether Kendrick is actually finished or just hibernating, and I will catch every single one of you right back here the second the next chapter cracks open. Stay tuned, stay sharp, stay dangerous. Peace.